Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another crypto update. This time kind of an emergency one in between my two daily crypto updates. So if you watched my video earlier today, I predicted that Bitcoin was going to drop below $15,000, and go check my Twitter. I've been calling this for the past 2 days here, and we finally saw, kind of the bigger pullback that we're waiting for a while, because a lot of these cryptos were obviously pretty overextended. They've been going up nonstop, very small pullbacks in between, and when it's like that, we're just bound to have, a bigger drop that really sets things back into a normal sort of range. And that's what we're seeing tonight, right? So a lot of cryptocurrencies kind of collapsing. Ripple is one of the few that's actually doing pretty well. It's seen as somewhat of a safe haven. I'm going to get into a bit more detail of that. And I'm really making this video just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on, because a lot of you were kind of panicking on Twitter and wanted to know what was happening. So I'm going to go over some technical analysis on the top 5 cryptocurrencies, kind of talk about where the money is heading, and other than that, if you're interested in monthly buying opportunities, go check out my subscription. I have a link to that, and that's going to be a premium content in the link below. We can see that Bitcoin is obviously taking a hit here, back below $15,000. One thing that I will say is don't be surprised if some of these bounce over the next 2-3 days. That's definitely possible. Overall, I think that in the next 1 to 2 weeks, we're going to see a lot of these cryptocurrencies move a little bit lower at the very least. As far as the money flow goes, we can see that based on the volume here on these top 5, it looks like a lot of the money is going back into fiat. Ripple, I would say, is definitely seen as a bit of a safe haven here, because a lot of this drop was caused by Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Cash drama. I think that there's going to be more of that in 2018. And Ripple will probably be seen as a safe haven because of that. And that's what we're seeing tonight, basically, right? Those two were what triggered really this drop in the first place, and what destabilized the markets, unfortunately, all of the Coinbase drama as well. If we take a look at Bitcoin here, we can see that we put in a low on this candlestick of $13,300, bounced off this $13,673 support line, and also our uptrend line over here. And those are two pretty major support levels moving forward. We're not able to get back up above this middle band just yet. That's the brown line right over here, and that's currently at $15,723. That's going to be pretty big resistance moving forward, and probably going to keep the prices a bit lower. So moving forward, could Bitcoin drop more? That's definitely possible. It would have to break through this $13,673 support level and really hold below that. Now, we did dip below that on this candlestick, but we managed to bounce back up pretty nicely. So we could definitely see a bit of consolidation in this area, but it's always possible, if things get really bad, that we see it drop, down to maybe this $11,414. That would be the next support level. What's good with that area is that it's pretty much in line with the lower Bollinger Band, so it's pretty unlikely that we would drop lower than that, but that would definitely be the worst case scenario, I would say, at this point. As far as the indicators go, we can see that we're moving back towards that 50 line. It would be nice to see a bounce there. That would mean that we'd probably see some consolidation and not drop much further. But we could go down to this 43 line on the RSI, which has been pretty major support. So that's definitely possible. And that's also an area that we're going to be looking towards for not seeing more of a drop. As far as the MACD goes, definitely downtrending there. Finally crossed over after the long bull run, and downtrending on the histogram as well. Let's go over now to Ethereum and see what it's been doing. So Ethereum has actually been holding up pretty well here compared to a lot of cryptocurrencies. Obviously, it also has had a very long bull run, pretty much hasn't pulled back much since $340. We've got a little bit of consolidation at around $460, but after that we got yet another breakout. So we've pretty much been going up nonstop on the MACD. And we're finally getting, that hook over towards that orange line, where we're probably going to get, a bit of a downtrend there. Histogram moving lower, and broke through a couple of support levels on the RSI, namely the 70 line and the previous downtrend line, which was going to act as support normally, broke below that. So we could see a bounce off the uptrend line. That'd be nice to see. We'll just see if it bounces there or if we're going to drop lower. At this point, where do I see Ethereum heading? Well, we bounced off the middle band at $617. Made our way all the way back up above $700 and above $750. Those were two pretty important support levels, and it's good to see that it went back into that higher range. Overall, though, I wouldn't be surprised to see it lower. The bullish case scenario would be obviously that it stays in this range. And if things got really bad, it could always go towards $600, maybe even $500. But I don't think we would see it drop more than that. And it's actually looking pretty strong here in this area. So maybe we're just going to see some consolidation at around, $730 moving forward. Let's go over to Ripple now and take a look at what it's been doing. Like I said, Ripple is definitely being seen as a bit of a safe haven here during all this market weakness, and we can see that we're holding very nicely above $1. We did dip all the way down to our support level at 91 cents and managed to bounce off that really nicely. So we did actually manage to go even higher at $1.36, pulled back from there. I'm just going to put in a horizontal line at $1 just so you know that that's pretty major support there. And I don't think we're going to be dropping below that again. So I think that even if it takes a bit of a hit because of everything that's going on, it probably won't go any lower than $1. And it could even maybe go higher or consolidate, but it should definitely act pretty strong throughout all of this. As far as the MACD goes, it's still looking good. Histogram bouncing and RSI still above that A line. Ripple is definitely one of the cryptocurrencies that's holding up well, and I think it'll continue to do so. From what I can see, it's hard to tell how long this drop will last. I don't think that'll be, a multi-month long drop, but it could definitely, last maybe 2-3 weeks. Let's go over now to Bitcoin Cash and see what it's been up to, and then we'll go over to Litecoin. Now, Bitcoin Cash is actually one of the cryptocurrencies that I thought would hold up better, and it's actually taking a pretty big hit here as well. Broke below the $3,000 support level and moving quite a bit lower from there. Now, we put in a low on this candlestick of $2,200. I could see it, maybe going even as low as $2,000. I think we'd see a pretty strong bounce there. The lowest that it would go, I would say, is $1,550, but I think we should see a pretty strong bounce at around $2,000 if we were to drop a bit lower, and that would pretty much be in line with that middle band as well. So I doubt that we would drop more. Now, as far as the MACD goes, definitely starting to peak here, and it looks like it's pointing downwards. Could see it move back towards that orange line. Will we see a crossover? It depends. Obviously, this is the breakout here that happened, and we might not see a crossover just yet. We could see a bounce off it potentially, but I think we will at least test it. And histogram moving lower, went all the way back below the 70 line, even back below the 60 line, and probably going to see it test that 50 line on the RSI. So overall, though, I think that Bitcoin Cash will stabilize within a couple days, but it probably will go a little bit lower moving forward. Like I said, don't be surprised if some of these do actually end up bouncing in between. That's pretty common, but like I said, they probably will trickle a bit lower, over the next week or two. And let's go over to Litecoin now for our final cryptocurrency of this update. As you can see, Litecoin went all the way down to $202 on this drop, managed to bounce up very strongly from there. Now trading back at $277. We lost the $300 support level, which was pretty important, and it was not easy to sustain that level, right? I mean, as you can see, this was a very overextended move for Litecoin. It was at, $50 not that long ago, and it was pretty much bound to see a pretty strong pullback because of how big this jump was. I think that we are probably going to move a little bit lower here, maybe back towards this $230 mark, and probably going to see some consolidation there is what I would say, because that's pretty much in line with the middle band. I expect it to consolidate and flatten out there, stabilize a bit. We could always see it drop a bit lower, major support at $160, but I feel like it won't go back below $200 at this point, right? Unless there's really a big panic, at which point it would just quickly drop maybe below to $160 and then very quickly bounce back up. But anyone who's able to buy at that $202 mark probably got a really good buy there. So as far as the indicators go, the MACD is coming back towards that orange line, about to cross over. The histogram is about to flip into the negative area, and it looks like we're probably going to see a crossover on the MACD and a move into the negative zone on the histogram. As far as the RSI goes, broke through pretty much all its support levels, going towards that 60 line. Could see a bounce there or off the 50 line, but we lost all the support, and we're definitely going to start downtrending on the RSI. So just to recap here for Vertcoin, I think that we're going to move towards that $230 mark, despite the fact that we're bouncing here, and consolidate in that area until things clear up a bit and the market is ready to move back up. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is the end of the video. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it.